Hello friends, today I'm going to show you how we set up React environment for different application deployments. We have various kind of development, production, testing and staging environments, and we will go through one by one how we set up those environment and how we run our application using those environments. So basically an environment is managed using the environment variables, and these variables help us do the different settings that we chose in our various environments. Okay, so I have a sample application here, but we would be doing a new one using the step-by-step process. All right, so I have my command prompt here, and it's pointing to a location that I have my folder opened. And here we will create the React applications. So we just do the npx create React app, and I would say my env33, and we're using the template equals to Typescript. If you're unable to see this, I'll just increase this. Okay, so here. So this is going to create my React application with my env33 on this preferred location, and it will use the language that is TypeScript. Once this has been created, we will follow the other steps on how to run using the different environment setups. I don't think we should be using different files to show up on the um, environment. We will simply change the first home page, or you can say the index file, and we will test our environments on in there. Okay. Wait a few seconds while it takes the application to load up. Once we are ready with the installation or creating the application, so you see that how much of messages it showed up while it was creating the application. So I started with this create React app, my env33 and template equals to TypeScript, and it ran a couple of messages while it was installing, and it says that finally if you want to run the application, you need to do a cd my env33. Right, that will put my current project on the track, and we will go with Visual Studio Code. So I would just do a code space dot. That will open up my VS Code. Okay, and it will open up with the new application that we just created right now instead of the React env that's open at the back. All right, so this is the new one that we just created. And what we are going to do here, we will check out with the src. I see that I have my index, my app.tsx, which has the default settings, the default layout and everything. We will just go with the terminal because we need to run the commands from our terminal here. On the terminal, I'll wait for the command, the default command to come up, and then I will type in a few codes to run the development environment. Okay, so it still hasn't come up. TypeScript JSX. No, we are using TypeScript TSX to run the environment variables or to activate the environment variables. Those two commands are here. One is dev env and one is envcmd. So what we will do here is npm install dev -env, and another one is envcmd. These two will activate the environment variables or the environmental settings, and that will work through our program. Okay, without that you will see that something is not recognized, and some logos will not be shown up as recognized as development environment or the environment setup. Okay, so one is done. I'll go for the second one, that is envcmd. envcmd takes few seconds while it runs with the installation of the environment settings. Once these two settings are done, we will run our program and make some changes on it. We will add 3 to 4 new files to set up the environment settings, or to show up the environment settings. Okay, so those two are done. Now let's add a few more files and set up the program settings to show up as required. The first one I will take up is .env. Okay, so this is the default environment file. Now I'll take up two more files. So one should be testing, one should be production, and I can add one more that should be QA. How will you do that? Well, you have to tap. outside these files or on the main folder, and then you add one more file and you type in .env dot, let's say, prod. This is production, and I'll add one more, that's .env dot qa, and final one, let's say .env dot staging. Right, so now we have four files in here, and we will have all our variables put in there. So I just will do a copy paste because I already have them. This one is for the default one. So .env stands for the default. We will, yeah, you can put in React App API key, and this one will, you should have any key variable here, so that will work only if the development, only if the environment is running in the default state, or if it's in a different one, then you will have to change the key from here. So let's say this one will be 6000, and this links should be something like this is prod. I will mark it as production, and the one for QA, paste it. This should be something like 4, and I will mark this URL as QA, and this default will be testing. Now the final one, that's staging. Change the API key, let's say that is 9, and here slash staging, and this mode should be staging. Okay, after doing these changes here, we need to make changes in the package.json. Here you see that there are debug scripts. While it's debugging, this one needs to be set up of what all types of environment you want to run here. So let the default one be there. I will add the other commands for the remaining environments. So I have QA, production, and staging. Yeah, three more. And you need to see that it's -f.env.qa for the QA environment, and it says that run script start, and .env.production. Okay, I'll just mark it as prod, and this one will start the production environment, and start production. Wait. Dot prod. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I'll just put in, and staging is absolutely fine. So I'll this one I'll have to. This is the command that you need to run start production in order to start the prod environment. Okay, and how will we know that what is the type of environment that's running? Well, to see that, let's run the application and see. Okay, so if I start my application, it's going to show up on the browser window with whatever the default application is there, and whatever the default setup is there. The default setup is in app.tsx. Well, that's coming up. I'll show you here in the app.tsx. Whatever is here, this one will come up on the first page that loads up. Okay. So while it's loading up, we will make changes here, adding one more paragraph and thing, and then showing up what type of environment variables have we got. So let it load up, otherwise it throws an error. Uh, okay, still coming up. So what else we can put in here? I'll say what is the environment. Okay, so here, and then in curly braces. Um, okay, still waiting. Just doing this thing. I'll just go back and see what was there. Wait here, few seconds. I'll just see what was on the previous. Okay. All right. I missed out one thing here. This one. So every time you pass an environment variable, you have to use those kind of variables using this keyword. Okay, this one. Okay, so process.env dot whatever you have. All right, so on my new application, which is env33, I made, I'm showing nothing. So let's see on the browser what came up. Okay, it's still coming up. All right, well, it comes up. I will make some changes in this one. So this one is going to show the API key. instead of this one, environment key, and then one should show the environment. So I'll just copy the environment app mode here. This one, put that in here. Okay, so this one will show what mode is it, and what's the API key. You can now be in the browser. All right. It hasn't come up. Okay, perfect. All right. Now we got the environment key and the environment. Where the environment variable is in the mode is showing the environment key there. I think it's not loaded properly yet. It still says it's compiling. All right. So now you can see this is the default screen. Okay, the default first page which came up and it has the environment key as this 2000 and the environment variable it's showing up as default. Okay. Now in order to run the second one, what do we do? I'll close the first one. Now the second one, which is in order to run the second one, I'll have to stop the first one. Okay. So to do that, Control C, and it's asks if you want to stop this. I'll say yes, and it's terminating that job. And then what we will do to launch the second one is npm run start, and we will see whatever is there in the package.json. So we will start with production. Let's see. And what we have in production? Well, in production, yep, we have 6000s, and the environment mode is production. Let's see. It's launching up the application. Well, here is the staging application as expected, and I ran all four of them because it was taking few minutes, few seconds to load up everything. So I'll show you the differences in all of them. The first one is says it's the default one with an environment key of 2000s, and the second one says an environment key of 6000s, and that's a production. Third one says it's 4000 with an environment of testing, and the fourth one says it's the staging environment with a key of 9000. Let's compare that with our code. If we go back to our code and we check that on the default one we have 2, on the production we have 6, on the QA we have 4, on the staging we have 9, and that's how it works. Okay, the package.json is set up like this. I'll put this codes on. I'll put this application on GitHub and share the link with you so you can just copy them up. However, but you need those commands what need to be run. So I'll show you what commands were run. Well, the final one was running, so it is still running the staging one. Yeah, in order to run different environment, I'll have to stop the current one. So we'll do a Control C, and it asks for termination of the current uh, environment or the application, and we will do that. So I did these things. Okay, the first one was only npm start, and that starts the default application. The second one was start npm run start colon production. Third one npm run start colon QA, and the fourth one npm run start colon staging. In order to run these type of environments. Okay, I hope you understood what we did here. It was pretty simple and very short. In order to understand, we have this API key. If you want to use this URL also, you can put in like if we go here, you can see that how we are using those variables. So not here, wait, app.tsx here. So process.env.react app mode. Okay, here this one is the environment variable, but in order to use that, we use a process.env dot. And if you want to use a link, you can do the same thing, process.env dot, and whatever the link is here, React app API URL. Okay, so I guess you enjoyed the video, and I'm going to put in more videos in future. Until then, stay tuned, stay connected, and happy coding. Thank you.